Hey there. So the other day I posted on Facebook that I had used ChatGPT to write a Chrome plugin to do a repetitive task for me because I had to do something for somebody over and over and over again. And I recognized that, man, it would be nice if I just had a button to push that. And basically what I did was I went through this process. I recognized that I was doing something that I could automate. And then I checked with ChatGPT to see if it understood the problem well enough to automate it. And then I asked ChatGPT to actually create the code, which is in this particular example was a Chrome plugin. And then I installed and tested and modified it, and it worked. And that was great. And then several people actually asked me to make a video showing how I did that. So I think the very first thing is this very thing I've got on the screen here, which are these 4 steps. Is sort of the way to think about the problem. It doesn't make sense to try and automate things in general that you actually don't understand. It doesn't make sense to automate things where you're not clear what the process would be. But if you're doing something that you can explain to, say, an intern or a helper how to do, probably that's a good candidate for automation. That's a good test. If you can explain the problem, automation is a good thing to think about. So I couldn't really show the problem that I was working on, but I thought of another problem. Let's say that we had a task where we needed to do a Google search on a bunch of different Amazon products. Let's say that our boss had asked us to go through and look at a bunch of products on Amazon, and for some reason, whatever reason, he wanted us to search the exact title in Google. So boss says, hey, go check out these 1,000 products. And for every product, I want you to highlight this title in Amazon. I want you to open a tab, and I want you to go over to Google search, and I want you to copy and paste that exact title into Google and search it. Now, this is kind of a silly thing, okay? But it's just a simple example. There's 1,000 ways to do this that are better than what I'm going to show you. But let's just say that you had this problem and you decided, man, it would be really nice if this link was already clickable and I could click this link and I could instantly open a page in Google that searched these words, these exact words. So instead of me having to copy and paste these into Google search, I could just open the page automatically. Let's say that was my amazing thing. And obviously this meets the first standard. I've recognized something that I could automate and I can explain it. I can explain what I want. So the very first thing that I would do in this case is I would ask ChatGPT if it can understand the problem. And here's how I would do it. And in order to help you understand this, let's talk just in very basic terms about what a Chrome plugin is and what it does. In general, a Chrome plugin is a program that runs inside the Chrome browser, and it's able to execute code on the contents of a web page. And it can do cool things. It can read the web page fundamentally, and it can insert more HTML into the page to add buttons or underline things, or in our case, probably hyperlink this text to change it into a link to a Google search. So that's what I hope to do. So sort of the question I'm asking is, can ChatGPT understand this task well enough to write a Chrome plugin? And so since a Chrome plugin is going to read the web page, I want to go ahead and give the web page to ChatGPT. So the easiest thing for me to do is just to save the page to a directory on my hard drive. Here I'm going to save it to a directory called project because I'm doing this little project. So I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to go over to ChatGPT. I'm going to give it the file that I just saved in my project directory. See the HTML file here. And I'm going to say, hey, ChatGPT, can you identify the title in this Amazon listing? So obviously when I do that, it says, sure, here's the title. So I'm not surprised. It knows what I'm talking about when I talk about the title in the Amazon listing. So the next thing I'm going to say is, hey, ChatGPT, can you build a Google search link that directly searches that exact text that you found for the title. And sure enough, it's able to do that. Hey, ChatGPT, can you show me the naked link in a code block? So when I look at it, sure enough, there it is. It's a Google search link. And if I copy this link and I open a new tab and I paste it in here, I get the page that I'm looking for. So we know that ChatGPT can actually do this. Okay, we know it can do it. So here's the next and critical question. And I would ask this question just like I was talking to an intern or a smart programmer or something like this. I would say something like the following. Hey, ChatGPT, can you write a Chrome plugin that will reliably identify the title on an Amazon product page and hyperlink that title to a link that will search the same text of that title in Google search or something like that? You may be able to find a more eloquent way to say that. And when I do that, ChatGPT tells me that, okay, here's a simple extension, a Chrome plugin that you can use to do that. And it creates the script right here. So that's how it does. And what it tells me is I need to create these 3 files, load the extension in Chrome extensions, and here's how you're able to use it. So there's like 1,000 YouTube videos on how to install a Chrome extension. I'm going to speed this video up to turbo speed, and we can actually do this that way rather than take you through that step by step. Basically, what I'm going to do is create these 3 files. So here we go. Okay, so now you can see that I've used my favorite text editor, which happens to be BB Edit on the Mac, and I've created a manifest.json file, a content.js file, and a styles.css file, just at some place on my hard drive. Doesn't matter where it is. And it tells me that I want to go to this URL in Chrome, and I want to enable developer mode and load the unpacked file. So here we go. So we're going to go over here. We're going to paste in that URL. It brings up a magical Chrome page with all my plugins, and I want to be in developer mode up here in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to load this unpacked stuff, which is in this code directory here, and boom, it's loaded. There were no errors. Now, if I go to my extensions here and I look at it, I've got Amazon title Google. So now let's go back to this Amazon page here and reload the page with the extension present. Now you can see that this is hyperlinked. And when I click on it, as if by magic, it goes straight to Google. So let's look at another example just to make sure this really works. Let's look for something innocuous like, I don't know, screwdrivers. So here's some screwdrivers. Let's say I like these screwdrivers. I open the page. Sure enough, the title of this item turns blue. It's now hyperlinked to Google. And when I click on it, I go straight to Google search for the same term, rotation 6-piece magnetic tip screwdriver. That's the same term we have over here in Amazon. You can see the search term is the same as a product listing. So this is now a new tool in my toolbox. This was a silly example, but if my boss had asked me to do this work and I recognized that it could be automated, that's step 1. I could ask ChatGPT just a quick test to see if ChatGPT could understand the problem. And in this case, it could. Then I could have this sense that I could write a Chrome plugin or some other kind of program. Maybe you're in Excel, an Excel macro, something like that. I ask ChatGPT to write that. I install it, test it, and debug it if necessary. In this case, it wasn't necessary to debug the code because it worked on the first try. But oftentimes it doesn't quite work for your particular case. ChatGPT didn't anticipate an issue, or maybe you tried 10 pages and on the 10th page, it didn't work. Well, in that case, I would just feed ChatGPT the problem, the 10th page and a description of what went wrong, and ask it to modify the code to handle that case. Super simple. Reinstall the code, do more testing until you're happy. I hope this helps and gives you an idea about the ways that you can think about using ChatGPT in ways that are super helpful and can make your life better. Hey, my name is Mark Mason. I hope you enjoyed this content. I hope it was helpful. And if you've got further questions, don't hesitate to hit me up in the comments. Ciao.